Shalom, shalom, Israel's brother Zabayala.
For the Kazawan.
Coming back at you with another cold cut. I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, especially on this mighty Shabbat day, where we honor the Most High and give, and magnify His name on this day. Right, the day He commanded us to rest, man. So this breakdown is gonna go straight into the judgment of the great, judgment of the great whore. Revelations, the 17th chapter, the judgment of the great whore, whom we know infamously as Babylon the Great, which is aka America today, right? So the Lord wrote down a prophecy just regarding this woman, right? This beast, and we're gonna dive into that, and we're gonna see what this is going into. We're gonna see what that's about. All right, you know, Revelation 17:1.
It's the book of Revelation.
Actually, let me get this precept real quick. Revelation chapter 19. It's Revelation chapter 19, and I'm gonna start at verse 10, because this also goes into prophecy. It's Revelation 19:10, and it says, "And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushua. Worship Yahweh. For the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy." So we have the testimony of the Lord if you have the spirit of prophecy. So we're going to go into these prophecies, see what these prophecies are going into, right, regarding America, regarding our salvation, and the destruction of this place, Babylon the Great. All praise to the Most High. All right. So I'm going to have you bring out Revelation chapter 17 and verse 1.
Book of Revelation, chapter 17 and verse 1. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
So this is the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Why? Because this America does trade with many nations, man. She's the king, the damn queen of the earth, man. Right? They do trade, economic commerce, right? America kind of gives out exports and buys all these countries' things, man. Right? Making these countries rich, man. Right? Occupying his philosophies, giving out his philosophies and doctrines. Right? Go to the, actually read on to verse 2.
Verse 2. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
So these nations has been drunken with the wine of America's fornication. Why do you think France is in an upright right now? Look at France. France is about to fall to the Islamic State, man. Right? All these immigrants coming into France, and they're overturning everything, man. Right? Guess what? They've been drunk because America lets in immigrants all the time, man. Right? Lets in all masses amount of people, and guess what? Because that's the big melting pot, right? And these other European countries took a liking to that. That's why they're falling. They're drunk off the wine of America. Go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and verse 6, man. Right? These nations are utterly drunk out their mind. Once you start accepting the Western philosophy, right? That's why these Eastern countries hate America, man. Everybody can be anything they want to be. You can rebel against your government, despise government, right? Read what you got.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and verse 6. It says, Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul.
So the Lord said, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Read on.
Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her recompense.
Read on.
Verse 7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunk.
That what?
That made all the earth drunk.
Everybody's drunk off America's wine. Anybody can be a sodomite. You have East Indians that come over here and become sodomites, right? You have Chinese people that come over here and start doing what they want to do in America, man, because knowing they can, right? They used to wear the dresses in Africa, like the with them Ethiopians. They be wearing all the dress. They be wearing all the garments. They come to America, they put on tights, man. Right, and do what they want to do. Read on.
So, let me get back to that.
All right. Made all the earth drunken. Hamitic nations are drunk. Right? Moabite and Japhetic nation, they all drunk. Right?
The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad.
Right?
Verse 8.
Gosh, lucky. So the nations are mad at America. Go to the, you got a precept?
Yeah.
No, you can bring it.
And I got to... Let me find that precept. So Psalms 18 and 4. Because, the nations represent the waters and all that as well.
You have to speak up.
The nations represent the waters, because a lot of people, they kind of think, they like, oh, it's some kind of, it's literal. It's not literal. Like this Psalms 18 and verse number 4. Psalms 18:4. The sorrows of death compassed me. The floods of ungodly men made me afraid. So those waters that the whore is sitting on is all the other nations, and they kind of filling them up with the wine and all that. Let me get this precept too. Habakkuk chapter 2. This is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse number 15. It says, "Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that they mayest look on their nakedness." And that's what they're doing, right? When they get all these nations drunk who are the waters, right? They looking at all their nakedness. They got all these nations in great sin, right? All these nations, they murdering each other, they hate each other, they're homosexuals, they're transgenders, they're pedophiles, they just do all kinds of, they live like Americans. They want to live like the so-called white man, right? Let me grab this precept real quick in First Maccabees, the first chapter. This is First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 41. It says, "Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his people, to his whole kingdom, that all should be one people." And that's what Esau does when they fornicate with everybody. They want everybody to, let me keep reading on there. It says, "And every one shall leave his laws, so all the heathen agreed to, according to the commandment of the king." So the same way that Antiochus had people all trying to be one people, he was Hellenizing everybody. That's the same thing America does to this day. They're getting everybody drunk on their laws. Everybody's leaving their traditions. I mean, Muslims aren't Muslims anymore. They're atheists now, or they're Christians, right? I mean, everybody wants to be an American. They want to be Esau, right? And they all are drunk, and they're going to be destroyed because of that, right? But you got it.
Khan, that's right. This is Isaiah chapter 47, verse 5. "Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt be no more called the Lady of Kingdoms." So America's called the Lady of Kingdoms, man. You even got the Statue of Liberty being a lady, man. Right? Guess what? That symbolizes what? They're the queen of the earth. They literally take hold of the Monroe Doctrine, literally describe themselves as the police of the earth, man, 1945. So America's not going to be called the Lady of Kingdoms anymore. And that's what Revelation, the 17th chapter, is going into. We're only on verse 2. All right, go back to that Revelation chapter 17 and read verse 3.
Okay. It's Revelation 17 and verse 3. "So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns."
All right, so John went into was carried away into the wilderness, man, right, and seen the European Union, the 7 heads. He's seen the 10 horns, man, right. Go to the book of Psalms chapter 63 and verse 1. All right, Psalms chapter 63 and verse 1. When you're in the wilderness, you're thirsty. It's a dry land. There's no resources there. And that's where John went to see this prophecy. You know?
This book of Psalms chapter 63 and verse number 1. "O God, thou art my God. Early will I seek thee. My soul thirsteth for thee. My soul thirsteth for thee. My flesh longeth for thee in a dry and thirsty land where no water is."
And where no water is. That's a wilderness where there's going to be no water, man. There's no water in America. And when we say water, we talking about on a spiritual level. There's no knowledge and wisdom of the Lord in America, man, unless the servants of the Lord are pushing that out. This land was built off total wickedness, man. Right? There is no water in this place. This place is a dry and thirsty land, a land of darkness, man. That scarlet also represents sin. That scarlet is another color for red. Go to the book of Isaiah 1 and 16, Bible Kasha.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 1. And verse number 16. "Wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings."
All right.
"Learn to do well, seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless, plead for the widow. Come now and let us reason together, saith the Lord, though your sins be as scarlet."
Yeah, so your sins are as scarlet, right? Meaning red, deep red. Read on.
"Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool."
So, right, we know that red, we know that scarlet represents red. We know that represents sin, right? So go back to that Revelation chapter 17 and verse 3. So John was carried into the world, the wilderness, America, where there's no water, right? And and these colors represent the attributes of America, right? America represents and perpetuates sin on earth. And not also America, but the EU. Read what you got.
It's Revelation 17:3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Right, read on.
Verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
Right, and why does she have the purple on? Why does she have the gold? We know the scarlet represents sin because these colors represents royalty, man. These colors, America decks herself in royalty. That's what other kings and queens wear. All right, go to the book of Esther 8 and 15. Baba Kasha. This is what royalty wears. So America tries to feign themselves as a queen, as royalty, when she's really not. She's a beast.
Esther 8 what?
8 and 15.
It's the book of Esther, chapter 8 and verse 15. And Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel of blue and white, and with a great crown of gold, and with a garment of the fine linen and purple, in the city of Shushan rejoiced.
Right, so that's what Mordecai had on, blue, white, and purple, man. These purple represents our royal color, royalty. This first Maccabees chapter 14, verse 43. Beside this, that he should be obeyed of every man, and that all the writings in the country shall be made in his name, and that he should be clothed in purple and wear gold, right? So that's what Simon had on. He had purple and he wore gold, man, right? Because he was in the highest state. America's also in the highest state. So the Lord's painting a picture for you, right? So go back to that Revelation chapter 17, read verse 4 again, Baba Kasha.
Revelation 17 and verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
Right? And that's America for sure, right? The mother of harlots, man. Right? This is the place where Jake and Eve is being put to death at a mass number. Right? Martyrs for the Lord. Go to the book of Luke chapter 21 and 19. Right? This is the place where Eve and Jake is being put to death, man. Right? The mother of all abominations, the high level of witchcraft. You got people dying at random concerts they go to, that damn Travis Scott concert, man. Yeah. Right? People getting stomped on, and you got damn witches and hymns going on, man. What you got?
Yeah, crucified.
Come on.
Revelation 21 and verse 19.
No, Luke 21 and 19.
Yeah, Luke 21.
Slakia. Leviticus 26 and 19. Slakia.
Leviticus. Leviticus chapter 26 and verse number 19.
See, look what the Lord said.
It says, "You shall be slain before your enemies."
What the Lord says going to happen in America?
Oh, so I put wrong precept. "And I will break the pride of your power, and I will make your heaven as iron, and your earth as brass."
All right.
Verse 20.
Read verse 17.
Verse 17. "And I will set my face against you, and you shall be slain before your enemies.
All right.
They that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursueth you."
And that's exactly what's happening. Right? That's exactly. Read Revelation 17 and verse 6, Baba Kasha.
Revelation 17 and verse 6. "And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints,
right,
and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahweh Shai. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration."
And this woman is drunk with the blood of the saints, man. You literally have our people just being killed at a mass. They don't even care anymore, man. You still have our men being lynched in the South, and they don't report it. They just call them suicides. I remember there was 2 lynches in 2 weeks, and they were both ruled as suicides, and it was both of Jake's. How, man? Police pulling over Jake and Eve and just shooting them dead, man. They will break into your house and kill you, man. Right? This is crazy. But this is America. This is Babylon, a great, drunk with the blood of the saints, man. Right? We can bring it out.
It's Isaiah 29 and verse number 10. Appreciate it. It's Isaiah 29 and verse number 10. I'm going to start at verse 9. It says, "For they stay yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and hath closed your eyes. The prophets and rulers, the seers hath he covered." Right? And the Lord, he just basically, the reason people don't care no more, because back in the 60s, let a brother be killed.
Right.
Hey, they would have been doing riots. They was not getting down with the white man in the 60s, man. Right? You had men always on the uprise. The same thing they doing up in France right now. They was doing that in America. But now our people, they got a spirit of deep sleep on them, and they don't give a damn. You got brothers getting their head chopped off in the South, getting hung still, getting killed by the police still, and nobody cared. Back in 2014, hey, it was riots going on. But then when you go to 2020 and what's his name, George Floyd got killed, you had Jake and Eve twerking in the streets. That's the spirit of deep sleep. I mean, that's what's wrong with our people. They get mingled in with Esau. Then Esau come and join the little Black Lives Matter movement.
Right.
And Esau doing the more riots than you.
And then Eve get hit in the face with a damn smoke bomb.
Yeah.
From the police.
And that's what's wrong with our people. And it's because they worshiping this beast. They love America because they get to do whatever they want. They get to do all the amount of wickedness that they want to do. Right? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13. And I'm going to start at verse 4. And it says, and they worship the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him. Right? And that's what people say. Because when we out there prophesying, they say, America never going to fall. America's never going to fall. We have the best army. That's what Jake and Eve going to say.
I still believe that. And
they don't even look up. They don't even look into it. They don't look at the other nations' armies. They don't look what's going on in these other countries, but got the nerve to say this country going to last forever. It's because they drunk. They got the spirit of deep sleep on them. It's no wisdom, no knowledge, no understanding in this land. Let me get Psalms 143 real quick.
Bring it out.
Psalms chapter 143 and verse number 6. And this the kind of mindset we need to have, right? It says, I stretch forth my hands unto thee. My soul thirsteth after thee as a thirsty land, like the brother was bringing out, right? This land is dry, it's thirsty. That's why it's the land of dry bones, right? When Israel, right? We the dry bones, right? We got to be stretching out our hands, trying to get that wisdom, that knowledge, that water, right? We got to get it all, right? We got to take it while we can, because I mean, everybody else, they getting drunk, they getting dehydrated, thirsty, and it's over with. So, right, what you got it?
Con, that's right. That's literally what it is, especially in this wilderness that we in. Right, it's the book of Psalms, chapter 64, and verse number 3. Right, talking about Esau, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Right, suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. That's literally what they're doing. They're shooting at the perfect. They're literally shooting us with their guns, man. Right? And the perfect is talking about Israel, because Israel is perfect in the eyes of the Lord, man. The Lord created them to be perfect, man, on a spiritual level. Meaning they're not spiritually crooked and discerned like Esau. Right? Verse 5, they encourage themselves in the evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them, man? And that's exactly what goes on in this country. Right? You can get the book of Revelations 18 and 24.
I got one more precept after you. 18 and 24. It's the book of Revelation 18 and verse 24. And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints.
Right. In her was found the blood of prophets and saints. Who? That's the Lady of Kingdoms that we read about earlier. Right. America. Read on.
And of all that were slain upon the earth.
All right. And all that were slain upon the earth. So not just only in America. You have our blood of our saints and our martyrs for the name of the Lord, and all of our people all around the world being killed at a high number, man. Just because of the influences America has had on these other nations to treat Jake a certain way and treat Eve a certain way. But you got your precept. And after that, we're going to move on.
All right. Yeah, I think I want to use that instead. Yeah, I'm going to just use this one. This is Isaiah chapter 5 and verse number 20. All right, it says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. And that's what's wrong with this. It's all upside down in this nation. All right, it's all upside down in this great port called America. All right, you got, we was at camp in Chicago last week. You had a brother wearing a dress, a super tight dress. It was up to his hip. Like, it was crazy. It
was horrible.
And then you had a dyke standing right next to him, and they best friends or a relation. I don't know what's going on. Right? They put the dark, they put the lightness for dark and say we evil, and they say that's those are good works right there. Those are gonna get you the kingdom of heaven.
They're brave.
Yeah,
they're strong.
Yeah, they doing something that nobody else do. But everybody does that in this land, right? And they do the good for bad, right? The good is this work of the Lord, keeping the commandments. Right now they in the churches, they got priests with rainbow garments and homosexuals all in the church saying God is a homosexual. No, they're saying God is non-binary now. So I mean, it's just all kind of wickedness in this horde, and they're gonna continue to fill people up until the day of the Lord comes. What you got?
Khan, all praise to the Most High. So go back to that in Revelation chapter 17 and start at verse 8.
All right. It's Revelation chapter 17 and verse number 8.
Especially dealing with the homo.
The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless.
Actually, I can read verse 7.
Verse 7. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman, and of the beast that carrieth her, which have the 7 heads and 10 horns.
Right, that's 7, or as we know, that's 7 heads and 10 horns. Right, going into the the European Union. Read on.
Yeah. Revelation 17 and 8. The beast that thou sawest and is not shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is.
And what does this mean? All right, let's break this down. Read that again.
Verse 8. And the beast that thou sawest and is not.
Right, the beast that sawest and is not is going into the Roman Empire, because that's what John was seeing during that time. But the Roman Empire isn't there anymore. That's what it means. Is not, meaning it's gone. It's dead. Read on.
And shall ascend out of the bottomless pit.
What is that bottomless pit? Right, that bottomless pit is talking about Europe. Right? Khan, that bottomless pit is talking about Europe. Go to this book of 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and 23. Khan.
It is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and verse 24. And of all the lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit.
Right, a pit is a land. And a pit represents a land. So now, hold on. This beast is coming out of a land. Go to Revelation 9 and 1.
Revelation 9 and 1. And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit.
Right, and that's going into Europe. So Europe is that bottomless pit. So go back to that Revelation chapter 17 and 8.
And go into perdition. And
right.
They that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life
right.
from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not.
That's the Roman Empire. The beast that was and is not at the beginning of verse, because they're not here anymore. Read on.
And yet is.
And what?
And yet is.
Because America came back as the Roman Empire. They do the same works. It's the same type of economy. It's the same type of political system. It's the same government. It's the same military. Everything back on the earth is the Roman Empire, man. That America portrays themselves as. Right? So read that on. I'll read on to verse 9.
Verse 9. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. Right,
and we all know for Isaiah 2 and 1, Micah 4 and 1, mountains represents kingdoms. Right, read on.
Verse 10. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. Right,
so hold on. Let's understand what this is talking about. Right, because scholars has been getting confounded on this for generations, right? And it says there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. When he cometh, he must continue a short space. So who are these 7 kings, and who are the 5 that are fallen? Right. So we understand that mountains represents kingdoms. Go to Isaiah 2 and 1, right, just to prove that. Right, mountains represents kingdoms.
It's Isaiah chapter 2. And verse number 1, the word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house,
the mountain of the Lord's house, read on,
shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above all the hills, and all nations shall flow into it.
So does that mean you're going to have a mountain? The Lord's going to take another mountain. He's going to bring it all over and stack it on other mountains and hills. And it's going to have a big sign like Hollywood. It's going to say Mount Zion. And then the other mountains that's not what it's talking about. It's talking about kingdoms of the earth, man. Right? It's talking about the kingdoms of the earth. So go back to that in Revelation.
Revelation 17 and verse number 11.
Sorry, verse 10.
Verse 10. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen.
So the 5 kings are fallen are who? Greece, right? So this is talking about the destruction of the Roman Empire, right? You have all these countries that come out of the Roman Empire, man. Greece, Germany, which was Germania Major and Minor, right? France, which was Gaul. Great Britain, which was Britannia, right? And then you have Spain, man, Hispania, all that came out of the Roman Empire. Read on.
And one is.
And one what?
And one is.
That's going into Rome. Rome was during that time. And that one is, right? Read on.
And the other is not yet come.
And who was the one that didn't come yet was Russia. That didn't come out yet. That didn't come yet. Right? Read on.
And when he cometh, he must continue a short space.
And that's Russia, because at the end of World War III, he's going to continue a short space and even look for the children of Israel. It tells you that. Right? Go to the book of Ezekiel chapter 38. Right? Russia is going to be that country that lives a little bit longer than the rest of these Edomite countries, because they're going to come out victorious. They're going to think they're going to rule the world until Yahushua kind of gives them a run for their money. Right? Read Ezekiel chapter 38 and start at verse 1.
38.
Yeah.
It's Ezekiel 38 and 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog.
Right, going into Russia, Gog, because they inhabit the same land today. We're doing
the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against them.
Right, to prophesy against Putin, right, in these other countries. So let's jump down to verse number 7.
Verse 7. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them.
Right, be a guard, because Russia's going to protect their allies. They're going to protect these nations, just like how America protects who? The European Union, right? They literally, NATO is just a contract basically saying if you are in NATO, if you go to war, America and its allies will protect you. That's how Russia's going to protect these other nations and protect Belarus, protect Armenia, protect all these allies during that time. And let's see what happens. We jump down to verse 9.
Verse 9. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands and many people with thee.
Right.
Thus said the Lord God, it shall also come to pass that at the time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think in evil thoughts.
Right. They're going to think to go up against Jerusalem. So you're going to have the elect being beamed out of America, being out of all the other countries. They're not going to be beamed back down in the wilderness. The wilderness is not going to be, it's not going to be built up with walls. Right. You're going to be in a dry land. Read on. Verse 12.
Verse 12. To take a spoil, verse 11. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars or gates.
Right, trying to attack Israel. Read on.
To take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods, that dwell in the midst of the land.
Right, so that's going into Israel, being gathered out all the other nations, man. And Russia's going to come in and try to take of Israel and try to destroy them during that time. But read verse 14.
Verse 14. Therefore, son of man, prophesy and say unto God, thus saith the Lord God, in the land when my people of Israel dwell safely, shalt thou not know it?
Right.
And thou shalt come forth from thy place out of the north parts, thou and many people with thee, all of them riding upon horses, a great company, and a mighty army. And thou shalt come up against my people of Israel as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days.
It shall be in the latter days, meaning the days after World War III. After Yahushua is done destroying these nations, he has one more nation to destroy. And guess what? Read on.
I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen may know me, when I shall be sanctified in thee, O Gog, before their eyes.
Right, see that? So that's that nation, that's the one that must continue a short space, right, which is Russia. So go back to Revelation chapter 17 and start at verse 11.
And the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth and is of the seven and goeth into perdition.
America's the eighth because he's that beast that was and is not. And he's also going to be America, that beast, the Lady of Kingdoms, will also go into destruction. That's America. Read on.
Verse 13. Verse 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast.
Right, they received 1 hour with the beast. When America was ruling, they were simultaneously ruling all under the umbrella of America. Go to Revelations 13 and 4.
It's Revelation 13:4.
Right?
And they worshiped the dragon which gave power unto the beast.
They did what?
They worshiped the dragon which gave power unto the beast.
Right? They worshiped the dragon which gave power to the beast. Read on.
And they worshiped the beast, saying, who was like unto the beast, who was able to make war with him.
And why do you think they linked up with America? Why do you think? Because America took down what? Spain. They took down the three horns. Spain. Right? They took down Great Britain. Right? They took down France. Right? So they were like, hold on, who can make war with the beast? If they took all these kingdoms, let's link up with the beast and we're going to reign 1 hour with the beast, man. But now you're going to see that this beast is unraveling, man. And guess what? The EU, they're not going to want to deal with America anymore. They're not going to deal with this economy anymore. They're not going to want to deal with America's BS anymore because America is not the top nation as it was before. All right, so go back to that Revelation chapter 17 and read verse 13.
Verse 13, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast.
All right.
These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and King of kings. And they that are with him are called the chosen and faithful.
Right, so hold on. Why do you think America and these other nations are trying to erect a space force? What do you need a space army for? What do you need a space army for? Now, be real. Like, what do you need a space army for? Right? So just some random random alien event is gonna come and just trying to. No, they're trying to fight the Lord, man. Right? They're gonna make war with the Lamb, and guess what? Yahushua will overcome them. He's the Lamb. 1 Peter 1:19. John chapter 1:22. Yahushua is that Lamb, man. He's the Lord of Lords and Kings of Kings, man. Right? And they're going to try to fight with the Lord. Go to Revelation 12:7 if you got a precept. Revelation chapter 12 and verse 7.
Revelation 12 and verse 7. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. And the dragon fought and his angels. Right?
So Michael, the archangel, the other chariots, they're going to be fighting against that dragon. That dragon is the so-called white man and his angels. All right, and I'm like in his team, man, you're gonna have helicopters, as it says in Revelation chapter 9 and verse 3 on down. It looks like scorpions, man. You're gonna see damn locusts, and you're gonna be seeing the chariots zap down the locusts. You're gonna be seeing a lot of different things, man, if you live during that time, right? Because this war will happen. Go to the book of 2nd Ezra 13 and 7.
It's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse number 7. But I would have seen the region or place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. After this, I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet there's fight.
They were afraid, but the Lord's going to put in their spirit to still fight him. Read on.
And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war.
Right.
But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests.
Read on.
And they were all mixed together.
And this is how the Lord is going to overcome them. A sword came out of his mouth. The Lord rebuked them with the law, and it literally was fire. That's crazy. Read on.
And they're mixed all together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude, which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden, all of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid.
Damn, and that's how the Lamb will overcome them. The Lamb is going to burn them up with the words of the law, because the words of the law are fire. The Lord said that in Jeremiah chapter 23 and 29, man. Right? It's not the words I speak unto you like a fire, man, that breaketh the rocks in pieces. So you got to understand something, man. The Lord is going to overcome these nations, right? And they're going to try to fight the Lord, as it says. Go to the book of Isaiah 17 and 12. Actually, go to Psalms 18 and 4. Right? Psalms chapter 18, verse 4. The judgment of the great whore. Right?
Psalms 18 and 4.
Con.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 18, and verse number 4.
Start at verse 3.
Verse 3. I will call upon the Lord, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies.
And that's what's going to happen. We call upon the Lord, and we're going to be saved from our enemies. Especially during this time. Read on.
The sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of ungodly men made me afraid.
Right.
Verse 5. The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me.
Read on.
In my distress I called upon the Lord and cried unto my God. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even unto his ears.
Right.
Verse 7. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations also of the hills moved.
Right. The foundation of the hills moved. We know these hills are talking about the smaller kingdoms as well. Read on.
And were shaken because he was wroth.
Right.
There went up a smoke out of his nostrils,
Right.
and fire out of his mouth.
And what?
And fire out of his mouth.
So that's the same fire in 2nd Ezra 13:7. The Lord is going to devour his enemies with, man. An innumerable multitude. That's billions and millions and millions of people trying to fight the Lord. Imagine fire going out of a man's mouth, killing millions of people in front of him. What type of fire is that? See that? Go to the book of Isaiah 17:12.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 17, and verse number 12. It says, woe to the multitude of many people, which make a noise like the noise of the seas, and to the rushing of nations that make a rushing like the rushing of mighty waters.
All right.
The nation shall rush like the rushing of many waters, but Yahweh shall rebuke them, and they shall flee far off, and shall be chased as the shaft of the mountains before the wind, and like a rolling thing before the whirlwind.
All right. The Lord's going to do that. Read on.
And behold, at eventide trouble, and before the morning he is not. This is the portion of them that spoil us, and the lot of them that rob us.
And that's the lot of them that rob us, man. These nations will be thrown down and cast down by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai himself. Right? You got a precept?
Let me see.
All right. This
Yeah,
is
This Esther chapter 10 and verse 8. It says, and the nations were those that assembled to destroy the name of the Jews, and my nation is this Israel, which cried to Yahweh and were saved. For the Lord hath saved his people, and the Lord hath delivered us from all those evils. And Yahweh hath wrought signs and wonders, which have not been done among the Gentiles. So those are going to be all signs and wonders, in the last days. All the wars, all the calamities coming upon this country. Those are all great wonders that the elect are looking at. Even the nation, just the whole nation of Israel. So everybody gonna be able to see that, right? It says, therefore hath he made 2 lots, one for the people of God and another for all the Gentiles. And you got the wicked 2/3, and you have all these other nations. Everybody has a lot, and our lot, the lot for the elect, Lord willing, is obviously to get the kingdom, and then you got the lot for everybody else to be destroyed. And it's all written in this book. When you go into Revelation 17, Revelation, all these other different prophecies, you see the lot of this great horde. And it's all the same. It all lines up. They just say it a different way.
all right.
But
That's right. That's right. Go back to that Revelation chapter 17 and 16.
it's the book of Revelation, chapter 17, and verse number 16. Verse 15.
Verse 15, yep.
And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues.
Right, we read that in Isaiah chapter 17 and verse 12. The nations are going to be like the rushings of many waters. Read on.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the horde.
They going what?
They shall hate the horde.
Do you think France is going to still want to be with America? America's not even perpetuating what's going on in France right now. That their kingdom is falling. You have uprisings all over France right now. Do you think America's helping them out? They're sending troops over to France. You know how America helps people. They show the France national flag colors on the buildings, like Ukraine.
You got Turkey getting ready to leave NATO because Turkey and Sweden don't like each other, and Sweden trying to come into the horde, and now Turkey finna leave.
And Turkey's already looked at as an outcast. They already don't want to deal with America. They don't want to. America, they're like an outcast. And guess what? Biden and the chief prince of Tubal, right? Togarma, Turkey, right? Their leader, they're friends, right? They have a deep history together.
Yeah, him and Putin.
Yeah, him and Putin, they have a deep history together, man. So you have the nation. They're gonna hate the horde, man. They're going to hate the horde, right? Read on.
Verse 16. These shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
Eat her flesh and burn her. And who's doing these things? Read on to verse 18.
Verse 17. For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled.
Go to Proverbs 21 and 1. The Lord said the Most High have put in their hearts to fulfill his will. The Lord, he uses men as pawns to fulfill his will. And there's nothing they can do about it. Shalakia. The video ended. It's cool, right? Read that again.
It's Proverbs 21 and verse 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord.
So the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, man. Right? Read on.
As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will.
He does what the Most High does what he wants to do with these kings. And they can't stop the Lord. Right? You can bring it out.
Yeah, I got a precept on that. And we seen that with all the nations, right? He did it with Cyrus, right? He did it. Let me get that precept real quick in Isaiah 45. Right? He did it with all these kings, right? It's not just America. He's done it over and over. So this should boost your faith and show you that the Lord is not playing when you come back. Right? This Isaiah 45 and verse 1. Thus saith the Lord to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I have holden to subdue nations before him. And that's what the Lord is doing when he's gonna put it in their spirit to hate America. The same way he put it in Cyrus' spirit to subdue the nations before him. And I will loose the loins of kings to open before him the two-leaved gates, and the gate shall not be shut. Right? And I got one more precept. This Exodus 10 and 1. And the Lord said unto Moses, go in unto Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart and the heart of his servants, that I might show these my sign before him. Like he's gonna put it in their hearts to hate the horde, and then they're gonna be nuking this place, destroying this place, burning their own places up. He's gonna harden their hearts the same way he did Pharaoh, just to show his signs.
All right.
Like, you got it.
Go to Daniel 4 and 17. The Most High can even set up the basis of men to rule the world, which he did. And you have the Edomites that rule the world.
I got one precept at the end.
All right.
It's Daniel 4 and 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers,
All right.
and the demand by the word of the holy ones, and to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth, in the kingdom of men, and give it to whomsoever he will, and set it up over it the basis of men.
Right? So the Most High can set up the basis of men. He gives kingdoms to whomever he will. He can make other kingdoms bow down to one kingdom. The Lord can do all things, man. And they can't resist the Lord. They can't, man, Lord, stop. I'm gonna do what I want to do. They can't do that. They all follow the mind of the Lord of his will. All right, you can bring out your precept.
All right, this second Ezra chapter 12 and verse number 25. For these are they that shall accomplish wickedness, and that shall finish his last end. And whereas thou sawest that the great head appeared no more, it signified that one of them shall die upon his bed, and yet with pain. For the two that remain shall be slain with the sword. Right, and that's, the EU, right, all the other nations, right, they're going to come up and destroy America. They're going to bomb this place up. A lot of them going to team. You're going to have people teaming up with Russia, right, just like Turkey is. Right, there's other countries that deal with Turkey. Right, you got the BRICS alliance, right? They all going to be trying to destroy America in the last days, because nobody wants to deal with the currency and the ways that they present, because it's destroying their countries from inside out. But you got it.
Go back to that Revelation 17, 18.
Revelation 17 and verse 18. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
Right, and this is the breakdown of Revelation chapter 17, the judgment of the great horde. The water, all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Right, Lord willing, he was edified on the judgment of the great horde. This is the Revelation to 17 chapter breakdown. We like to give our praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua, and be the mighty strong Shalom.